Hello, I'm Chef Marcus Giuliano, and I'm a chef on a mission, chefonamission.com, and welcome to MarcusG.tv. And today's mission is going to be Truth in Menu. And I've been harping on this because I've been a professional chef for 20 years. I own a restaurant, and I'm very, very particular about the ingredients that I would serve to my customers, and I'm very particular about the ingredients that I eat personally, and my family especially, because I'm raising two young kids. Not so young anymore, they're 9 and 12, and still kind of young. So it's really important to me when I go out to eat somewhere, or when I'm feeding my family or myself, that I understand what is in my food, okay? Now, I have a major problem with a bakery here in the New York metro area. They're called Rockland Bakery. Okay, they're a big bakery, and they deliver to tons and tons of school districts, including my own school district where my kids go here. Now, granted, my kids do not eat food that I do not know what it is, and so we pack lunch every day. But I had some questions from other kids and other parents, like, can you find out what is in our food at our school? And I said, well, I'm probably the person to do that, so I took that small task on and was able to talk to people in the cafeteria, and I found out where they got their bread from, and it comes from a place called Rockland Bakery, okay? Rockland Bakery is located in, I think, Nyack, New York. They serve New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, and even Delaware. So they're a big bakery. They run 24 hours a day, nonstop, 365 days a year, okay? So when you go to their website, okay, this is what it says. It has, welcome to Rockland Bakery. Since opening our doors for business over 40 years ago, we have stayed true to our mantra of always fresh, natural ingredients. That's a big claim. Always fresh, natural ingredients. That's a huge claim, in my opinion, to say you're using natural ingredients in your bread. So now I run a camp in the summertime as well as a restaurant. I run a horseback riding camp for girls, and I was hired to come on there about 8 years ago to serve healthy, organic, natural food. So let me read you the bread that I serve to those girls at this camp. It's called the International Horseback Riding Camp, by the way. Let's see where that message is here. Okay, so I have it over here. Whole wheat flour, water, cracked wheat, brown sugar, wheat gluten, wheat bran, yeast, high oleic sunflower oil and or safflower oil. High oleic is best because it has more omega-3s versus omega-6s. Sea salt, vinegar, oats, molasses, cultured organic wheat starch, organic barley, and ascorbic acid. That's what this company does for a natural bread that I buy. Okay, I buy a company that comes from a frozen product through a warehouse. So that's what I serve to the camp. Now let me read you Rockland Bakery's version of natural whole wheat bread that goes to the local school systems here in the New York metro area. Okay, whole wheat flour, good. Water, good. Sugar, good. So sort of all natural, right? Sugar, for argument's sake, it's natural. I personally don't consume sugar, try to consume sugar or serve sugar because of its detrimental health effects on us, but for argument's sake, it's an ingredient you can go pick up in the grocery store relatively easy, or it's widely available for hundreds of years. Wheat gluten, okay. Yeast, okay. Soy oil, okay. Wheat flour, okay. Calcium, okay. There's a lot of stuff I really can't pronounce in this bread. Propionate, the preservative. Calcium sulfate. Monocalcium phosphate. Monodiglycerides. Ethylated monodiglycerides. Ammonium sulfate. Ascorbic acid, that's vitamin C, which was in the other bread. Azidocarbamide, ADA, calcium peroxide, polysorbate 60, I wonder what that is, L-cysteine, proponic acid, sodium propionate, preservative, phosphoric acid. There's a lot of stuff I really can't pronounce in this bread. So for me, natural is like what our grandmothers used to make, and what we would do like from scratch. You pick up a book and you take some flour, some yeast, some sugar, some salt, proof it, mix it, maybe throw an egg in there if the recipe calls for egg. That's natural, okay? That to me is natural. So let's break this down even a little further, okay? ADA, the azidocarbamide. There's a lot of stuff I really can't pronounce in this bread. But here's the interesting thing. It has been banned as a food additive and in the food packaging in the United Kingdom. It is also banned in European countries as well as Australia. And in Singapore, if you use it, 15 years in prison and a $450,000 fine. But not the case in the United States, and not the case for Rockland Bakery, who considers their foods a natural, using natural ingredients. I guess they couldn't operate in these other countries. This is just really a mess when you start really breaking a lot of these other ingredients down further. There was a lot of preservatives that they were putting around that bread to inhibit mold. If you're using fresh ingredients, now I called Rockland Bakery, and I was very specific, and I spoke with one of the people there, and I asked to speak to the owner, and the owner offered me a tour because I told them what my specific problems were with their natural label, okay, on their natural claim. And they said they're the safest bakery out there. They this and that, HACCP and this, and he's the director of safety controls there, and this and that. I said, but you're not answering my question. Are these ingredients natural? What are these ingredients? And he couldn't answer my questions of these specific ingredients. He had no idea what some of these ingredients were. He's like, oh, I think it's a preservative, and this. You know what? I said, you're making a major claim on your website, and you really need to back that up. It's now time to back it up, okay, Mr. Safety Manager. So emails back and forth. The owner invites me down to take a tour of the place another month from now. And I said, I don't really want to tour the place. I understand that you're probably HACCP, and you have all these safety measures in place, and you're probably very clean and spotless, and it's probably like a laboratory. I understand all that. I respect that. That's fine. But you're not answering the true part of this. You're making a claim on your website that you're serving fresh, natural ingredients, and you're serving stuff with chemicals, preservatives, and a lot of things in it that are funky and banned in other countries, and you're telling me that's okay, that's considered natural. And he's like, well, we are this safe and this, and I said, cut the BS. You're feeding school children. Let's figure this out. So I said, I'm going to do a video on this because this is going to be very interesting for my Truth and Menu blog. Very interesting. So I sent them a nice email outlining all of this. This is part of my email to them, and saying, can you please comment on your natural part? I gave them over a week. I've not gotten a single thing back from them. So I'm now making a video to really expose what I think is kind of like fraud in a way. He was very consistent, very persistent. He goes, the word fresh. The word fresh on our website means we bake constantly, we bake every single day, and every product that leaves here is fresh. I said, it's fresh. You're using preservatives. It's going to stay fresh. Look at a McDonald's burger. Look at the bun. This is the kind of food, people. This is the kind of food that when you buy the bread, and there's so many mold inhibitors and all this stuff, you break everything down, it's the kind of stuff that you buy bread and you leave it out and it doesn't go bad. This is the stuff that like McDonald's uses in those places where you can take a burger and you look at it a year later, left at room temperature, and there's no mold, nothing on it. Those are preservatives, okay? Those are not good for you. They're preserving the food. They're going to preserve your insides in a bad way, okay? A lot of this stuff is a cumulative effect. So 1 or 2 doses doesn't really matter, but if you're a kid going to school and you're eating the bread in these places, and you're going to school, for 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12 years eating the same food, there's going to be a cumulative effect of all this stuff. These other countries have it figured out. But in the meantime, Rockland Bakery is still insisting currently today to have, sticking true to our mantra of 40 years, we're using all fresh and natural, always fresh and natural ingredients. I think that is a fraud. I think if you're going to advertise what you're doing, all of your products behind there need to back it up. You can't say that on your blanket, on your opening page of your website. Shame on Rockland Bakery, and I think you guys really need to remove those words from your website, or change your formulas. Other bakeries do it. Look at a lot of these other bakeries. Go into a health food store, go in the frozen section, and look at all these frozen breads. Look at Alvarado Street, look at Rudy's. There's a lot of brands, Food for Life. There's a lot of brands. In the meantime, parents, it's your right to know what your kids are eating. It's right to I mean, now, back to Rockland Bakery, just a quick second there. Not only do they provide for the school systems, but senior centers, elderly complexes, hospitals where people are trying to get well. They supply to all of these. You go to their website, rocklandbakery.com, and they're very good with telling you all these places they supply and how proud they are to supply these places. All right, so now it's really time, Rockland Bakery, to really remove that word natural ingredients off of your website, okay? But parents, you have every right to know, what your kids are eating, what you're eating, what your parents are eating in an elderly complex or in a hospital, whatever your loved ones are. Make some noise, speak up. When you see stuff like this, speak up and call them. Let these people know, tweet them, email them, Facebook them, do something. Let them know you're out there and you're agitated like I am. I'm Marcus Giuliano, I'm a chef on a mission. Today's mission was truth in menu. Thanks for watching.